But is it a must to pull the trailers that you have a Corvette engine with a 10-speed automatic transmission and running floorboards that drop? Is that a must that you have that? Absolutely, you have to have that in order to pull trailers to enjoy your other hobbies you have. Oh, I think it's overkill. No doubt about it. It's overkill. But you know, we're all a little different, and that's what life is about. And we like different things. My first truck I had, 1974 Super Camper Special, other than the snow, which it was horrible in, and mud, it could run and pull these trailers easily. And that didn't even have cruise control, power windows, power door locks, and when we got it, had an AM radio.
This is a real world video. I am not a professional truck reviewer, but I am a professional truck owner. And I'm going to take you through the history of the trucks and SUVs that I've owned, including some of my commercial trucks, and how I went from a 1974 Ford F-350 Super Camper Special to my new 2019 GMC Denali with a 6.2 liter Corvette engine. And I will be reviewing my favorite features on this truck, along with the truck performing and towing and on the highway in daily use.
And let's hammer down.
In 1965, my father started his construction business with a Ford F-350 green and white pickup truck. The engine was a 351 cubic inch V8 two-barrel carburetor with a 4-speed manual transmission. Very special truck to us for a long time. Unfortunately, like this truck we purchased in the 80s and undercoated, trucks in our area, the early ones, 60s, 70s, 80s, they rot out from the poor construction steel, and they rotted out from the road salt. I do have my commercial license, and I do rarely, most of the time now it's just for my own personal use, is drive my trucks at my business. I still enjoy to turn a key and drive one of my commercial trucks, as you can see in this video.
Arthur, I was just wondering what you were doing today. I've had my hands full. Pretty cool, huh?
This is a Big Mac over-the-road truck that we use to pull our lowboy, and I did most of the long-haul driving with this for a short period in my life. One weekend I put 1,700 miles on this truck. Trucks, to certain people like myself, have a sentimental attachment, and when I purchased this truck and went on my first road trip, my son, who looks like he was about 3 at the time, was just ecstatic to be near this truck, and he used to love to ride in the trucks with me. This is an F550 11-foot dump body truck. Of course, it's got 6.7 liter diesel engine, and it is an amazing truck. This has been in some of my videos, but I want to do a feature video on this truck in the future. Even my wife realized how important it was to maintain our properties recreationally, pull our boat, pull my ATV, and side by side move equipment home to do work around the yard. So in this video you'll see different trailers hooked up to my truck, and it's an important part of not only my business when I use it for work, covering the road, traveling the road to different projects, but also for maintaining a house and the different hobbies that we have. My first truck. In 1974, my father purchased this Ford F-350 Super Camper Special because he wanted to buy a pickup truck camper for it. And as you can see in this picture, the rear axle was moved 16 inches closer to the tailgate of the truck in order to handle the extra 4 feet of the camper. So this truck had super single rear tires on it, very wide, tall tires, and it was it looked like a dragster. Two-wheel drive truck, looked like a dragster, Rear end was up high with big hefty springs and the tall tires. The front end was low because it was a two-wheel drive truck, and it looked super cool. I turned a wrench on this truck, just about did everything on this truck, including I repainted it in the early, I shouldn't say early, yeah, in the early 80s I repainted this truck. I used to do mechanic work and body work for our company. I love this truck, and this is where my passion started for pickup trucks.
So my first Super Duty was a 99 F350 with a 7.3 liter, used to call them Power Strokes back in the day, V8 turbocharged diesel engine. I think it's a 4-speed transmission, 3 gears, and then an overdrive. Remember, that was like the emergence during the 90s of overdrive transmissions. Huge improvement. This color, our company color, used to be almost like a UPS brown. It was a Ford color, but it had a lot of metallic in it. This was almost like a copper, orange copper color. And when I actually ordered this is probably the last vehicle I ever ordered. And I ordered this truck. And it was on the cover brochure, F350 Lariat. It had a crew cab. I quickly put this weather guard box in, which is held up, wow, 20 years this is held up, and this soft tonneau cover. This was such a good truck. The engine combination, my brother Pat put an exhaust on it. This was floorboards. Static floorboards. Isn't that, how horrible is that? Static floorboard. But my truck following this 4 or 5 years later was this two-tone color in the bottom. This in the heyday I thought was a Ferrari of pickup trucks. Most of my trucks had Super Duties had tan interiors. This was such, wow, what good taste my brother has in reading. Very good taste. This was a novelty in the truck. This was like a big deal. It had a built-in cup holder. Gotta thank cup holders in vehicles to Lee Iacocca. I think he put it in minivans. But this had a built-in cup holder. And this was, and my son used to put the car seat here, pointed backwards, 3 in the front. Really, the back seat was borderline useless. No sunroof. Like, who cared at that time whether it had a sunroof? This truck, you could not get it with a plow package on it. They didn't want you plowing. We found out, we bought this truck, I leased it, we bought it, and we bought it for a plow truck. My brother still uses it as a plow truck. When he put the plow on it, the rear tires, he went through an intersection and the rear tires hopped off the ground. I think it's because it's such a short wheelbase and so nose heavy. But this has been a great truck, actually. Not fast at all. Give you a look at it from the front. Not fast at all, but it very loud. My wife did not like it was loud. This was the only vehicle I drove. I didn't have a truck and a car at the time, but it was a cool truck, very cool. This is my brother's. He purchased this used. I think it came out of Florida. This is my brother's dually, which is a nice looking truck, actually. This is my brother's dually King Ranch. King Ranch has a 6.0 liter engine, which is, I thought, a problematic engine at the time. Static steps. Wow, how can you have static steps? But they are lit. What year is this? I'll check the year. Dualies are great if you're pulling a fifth wheel or a heavy trailer. They're awesome. Everyday use. They're tough. So this is a 2003. I actually had this truck, not a King Rancher, but a Lariat. I had this truck in a single wheel, not a dually setup. But he's very proud of this truck. He always wanted a dually. Again, two-tone, which was big in the late 90s, early 2000, made a resurgence from the 60s and 70s. So let's check out the interior of my brother's dually. I don't think he'll mind. Again, a light, look at almost the same door panel as the 99. This has the football, look at same cab as my 99, same dashboard, cup holders. Look, we now have them in the center, arrangements in the back. And same, the 2003 dually is the same as the 1999 interior, no sunroof. What's this under the seat? Wow, he has a copy for each truck. Impressive. So, one other thing I should note, and I'm not sure if Super Duties has this now, but in the day, you actually had to lock out the front hubs on them to get four-wheel drive, and the switch was on the dashboard. Okay, there's the switch. There's a switch to go in and out of four-wheel drive. It's dark in here, but you actually had a switch. No big deal, no lever on the floor. Also, no built-in electric brake actuator. Can you imagine that? It may have gone here. That was an option. Most dealers didn't order it. Isn't that a shame? But now, no built-in electric brake actuator. Does have a cup holder though.
My next truck, and it's, even though it's an SUV, this is on a truck chassis, F-250 Ford truck chassis, was a Ford Excursion. And this, the big negative on this vehicle was the V10 engine. It had about 310 horsepower, 428 foot-pounds of torque. This thing idled at 1200 RPM. I think if I was lucky to get 10 miles to the gallon around town with this, I was lucky. My brother Phil would call it the Exxon Valdez because it needed to tow a fuel tank around it to keep it fueled. The pluses, it was one of the best vehicles I ever owned for the snow. I went through a blizzard with it after hunting, and it was just phenomenal. We used to own a farm, and I remember people were stunned. I'd drive across a farm field with 3 feet of snow, 4 feet of snow to pull our manure spreader out and the tractor. Just amazing in the snow. These are the last of the SUVs that I had, and they're Tahoes, and they're on a shortened 1500 truck chassis. At least they were in the day. And I think the first one was a 350 cubic inch engine, 5.7 liters or 5.6, and then they went to 5.3 liter engines. Both were very good engines. The Tahoe was the first vehicle I ever leased back to back. I actually had them on 2-year leases, and these vehicles were excellent. Great to pull a boat trailer around, awesome in the snow, good fuel mileage. Nothing but good things about the Tahoes. I actually built my house out of the back of a Tahoe. Saws, surveying equipment, layout equipment, water pumps, generators, just an all-around good vehicle. This is probably the ugliest pickup truck I've ever owned. It was a Chevy. It was like an adventure truck, 5.3 liter engine. Nothing bad to say about the drivetrain. Huge positive. Probably the nicest riding truck that I ever owned. And it was the most versatile. You could actually take out the rear panel behind the rear seat to extend the bed. Built-in tonneau cover. Now, this was the ugliest truck I ever owned. And the Cadillac Escalade version of that same truck, diamond pearl white paint on it, more powerful engine. I think it was a 6.2 liter engine. This was probably the prettiest truck I owned, and nothing bad to say about the Cadillac version of that truck. It was outstanding. Didn't like the Chevy version. Didn't like the Chevy version. Don't even want to remember its name. But the Cadillac Escalade was beautiful. My videos are opinion based on the vehicles that I own and operate. My trucks, SUV, tractors, cars, ATVs, side-by-sides. So they're opinion based. You need to form your own opinion. Don't rely on just what you see and hear on my videos. Don't depend on one person. Go out and do your own research before you invest in an ATV, truck, or tractor. Please don't be offended that I don't mention Japanese trucks. I'm an American boy. I grew up watching Western movies and hot rod movies and turning a wrench on American vehicles and working on our trucks. There is nothing wrong with Japanese vehicles. I am just not interested in them as much as I am in American trucks. Dodge, Chevy, GMC, Ford, Packard, those are names of trucks that I appreciate in my lifetime. Also, this truck has a lot of options on it. Whether you spend $500 on a truck or you spend $68,000 on a truck, enjoy your truck. I drove a $500 truck for years and I loved it. And I turned a wrench on it. When it was rotting in rust, I repainted it. So enjoy your truck. I hope you enjoy this video and thank you for watching. So I believe I had 3 Ford F-350 Super Duty trucks in a row. Started with a 6.0 liter engine. There might have been a 6.4 liter engine in there, diesel. I added a Banks module to the later 2 trucks, which added 150 horsepower, 250 foot-pounds of torque, and that Banks kit made these trucks monsters. My poor wife never liked these trucks. They were loud, weren't as quiet as the 6.7 liter Ford diesel engines. They were loud. They were great at pulling a trailer, had a ton of room in them, rode very rough. So I went from the Cadillac Escalade to Super Duty trucks, and they were fine. I never thought I'd say this, but the Super Duties were just too much truck for everyday use. Too commercial for me. Great for pulling heavy loads, but for moderate loads like you're pulling with a 1500, just too much truck. For a short period, I didn't have a truck, and then I got this 2012 Ford F-150 crew cab with the 6-cylinder, I think 3.6 liter EcoBoost engine, about 375 horsepower. This truck, the likes of it was, obviously I liked the looks of it or I wouldn't have purchased it. The shifter in the center console, I loved it. The interior was very nice on it. EcoBoost engine, when it ran well, had a ton of power, very quick truck. Not great pulling with a heavy load. You really miss the cubic inches with it. Fuel mileage was a disappointment in this truck. Even took a ride with the Ford district rep. He said I didn't get fuel mileage because of the 373 rear end. On any of the vehicles I purchased, I either meet or exceed the fuel mileage on the sticker. This one did not. Very bad mileage pulling a trailer. I think because those 2 small turbochargers are running all the time, when you're pulling a trailer, the fuel mileage just was not good with a trailer. It was a disappointing truck. This was a 2014 GMC. I think it was an LTZ was the package on it. Beautiful truck. Here it is next to the Ford. Very different looks. The Ford is a little rounder, especially the wheel wells are round. The GMC has square wheel wells. The height in the Ford box was very nice. It does have a taller box. This GMC I had for a couple years, a 5.3 liter engine, 355 horsepower, 383 foot-pounds of torque. This truck had a 6-speed transmission, not an 8-speed. It had a 6-speed transmission. I think the rear end gears in it were about 380, 373. This was an all-around good truck. Nothing bad to say about it. Really started pulling a trailer with this truck, and a good vehicle. No issues with it. I don't think it ever went back for any warranty work on it. Excellent truck. So I was sharing the truck with my son. I would let him drive, starting with the Ford F-150. I would let my son drive the truck during the week to school. I'd use it on the weekend or long trips for work over the road. And this Chevy was probably our favorite truck. It was a nice looking truck. Love the lines on it. It had the football leather interior, 5.3 liter, I think it was 8-speed transmission. This might have had a little taller, better highway gear, 350 rear end or 353, but this was a pretty good looking truck. One of my favorites. We just love the interior, and there's something about a Chevy truck, especially among other Chevy owners, that they just respect another Chevy truck. They'll give you a nod at an intersection or let you pull out of church ahead of them. Good truck, all around good truck, like the Chevy. So then in 2017, I really wanted the 6.2 liter V8 engine. You know that's the Corvette engine. I hope you know that. With an 8-speed transmission. The 6.2 liter has 420 horsepower. Some say it has more horsepower than what they advertise. And it has 460 foot-pounds of torque. So when I moved on from the Chevy, that lease ended. I got a 2017 GMC Denali, 310 rear ends. Talk about a highway gear. 310 rear ends in this truck, 8-speed transmission. On one trip, I almost got 34 miles to the gallon from Buffalo to Ohio. I was astonished. Pulling my ATV trailer, I would get 14 miles to the gallon. Now, there's more wind drag on the ATV trailer than there is weight, but even trailer towing, the gas mileage was excellent. So I have to tell you, up until my latest truck, I really like the performance of my 2017 GMC Denali with a 6.2 liter engine. Excellent truck. So it appears that ATVers in Canada, especially the mud guys that I watch on YouTube, they are buying up these Dodge trucks. So I had to look at a Dodge truck, and the engine is impressive. I think it's around 400 horsepower, 8-speed transmission, not 10-speed. They are, I think, the number one, Motor Trend's number one truck, 2 years back to back. Beautiful interior on the truck. I just didn't like it as much as other trucks, so I had to pass on the Dodge truck. It would look small, even the exterior of the truck, smaller looking truck. Good truck. I'm sure it's an excellent truck, but wasn't for me. Test drove a Ford F-150, was looking at possibly getting the max tolling package. Again, this truck was beautiful. Loved the interior on it. Loved the center shift console, having the shifter on the center console. Color was great. Ford, the performance on the EcoBoost engine is just driving around town without towing something is an awesome engine, ton of power. One feature I loved on my Ford F-150 I didn't mention, and even on their new trucks, a 36-gallon fuel tank. That's huge. The GM trucks only have a 24-inch gallon fuel tanks in the short bed. So I love the looks, like the looks of the Ford truck. I would give that EcoBoost engine another try, and without a doubt, I'd get it with that 36-gallon fuel tank. But again, the pricing wasn't right, and I really was interested in the Denali with the 10-speed automatic transmission. So the new 2019 GMC Denali is a physically larger truck than my 2017 Denali. It's taller, it's wider. The rear seat has 3 more inches of legroom in it. The box is taller. I think the box is taller than a Ford F-150 box. More volume in the rear box. They made the space between the rear fender wells larger in the bed. So even my wife noticed this is a physically larger truck. Look at the difference in the height in the front grille and hood. I'm thinking this is probably because they designed a bigger radiator in the front of the truck and made the hood taller to cool it. It may be because it shares more components with the 2500 and 3500 series trucks, and they didn't want to rework all the body panels. It is a taller, physically bigger truck. Not as big as a Super Duty, but much bigger than the previous design truck. I also struggle with colors when I select a truck. If you've seen this, I've owned so many black vehicles, and I look at, always wanted a red truck, never had one, although I did have, well, the copper color was probably close to a red. I did have a white Cadillac Escalade. I think the GM trucks look good with blue, and initially I did not like this color at all that I selected, but it grew on me. It stunned the salesman, and then I grew to really like this color. It's called Dark Sky, and I think GM's had this color around for years in and out. I might have called it Blue Jean years ago in the Chevy lineup, but I'm very happy with the color of the truck. And so I went back to what I know and liked. Very good luck with the GM trucks, Chevy and GMC. Love the power of the 6.2 liter engine. Little overkill, not a lot when you're pulling trailers. Really wanted that 10-speed transmission. Ford and GM developed that 10-speed transmission. Am I glad they did? Because it is an awesome transmission. So I went back to a GMC Denali. As I used to say with my diesel trucks, let's puff some smoke and see how this Denali performs. The goal for today is to load my tractor on this trailer with the mower deck on it, deliver the tractor to my office, take the mower deck off the office. There is an app on my phone that will do a diagnostic test for the lighting on the trailer, and I'm going to go through that next. I want to see how that works. So on my phone, I'm going to go to the My GMC app. And again, this is the first time I'm using this. I'm going to scroll down on the base menu, Pro Grade Trailering Guide, and it says Trailer Light Test. Let's hit that. Light test, let's start it. Left turn signal, right turn signal, backup lights, brake lights. That's really neat. I'm really pleased with that. Let's pull the tractor up and get the trailer ready to load. The tongue of the trailer is raising on the ball on the truck, so I'm going to pull forward. Now it's down, and I'm going to just set the tractor right in this position, not to put too much weight on the ball of the truck, because this is right at the limit for the truck. Pulling this combined weight. The dealer said this truck can pull 9,300 pounds. My tractor is 3,700 pounds. Let's rephrase that. Roughly 3,600 pounds plus 850 pounds of ballast. That puts me at 4,400 pounds, plus the weight of this 7-iron deck is 500 pounds. So the tractor's right around 5,000 pounds. The tractor's right around the weight of 5,000 pounds. The trailer's right around the weight of 3,000 pounds, 8,000 pounds fuel. So this is really bumping up close against the trailering capacity of that truck. I will show you some of the features of this GMC truck. Not an expert on the truck.
but I will try to show you some of the feature. I just showed you me setting up the trailer and the truck's computer system. This is probably the best electric brake actuator I've had on any truck I've ever owned, even ones I've had to install on the truck. GM has done a great job, their electronics units, integrating the electric brake actuator, this trailer app, transmission, and engine computers. This truck is amazing. Amazing. I know it's a lot of money, but man, it does the job. Very, very impressed. Very impressed with GM. So an interesting feature on this GMC Denali, it has a rear view mirror. And then as you flip it up, it has a rear view camera which comes through on the screen for the rear view mirror. And that's an awesome feature because you can check your load. You can adjust the brightness of this view. You can zoom in on it if you want. You can zoom out on it. I like it zoomed out. And you can tilt it up or down. You can see that. Let's tilt it down. Great feature. Just loving this truck. So a couple more interesting things. The parking brake is a button which engages electronically. And when you put the truck in gear and push the gas, it disengages very fast. Now I'm going to take the truck out of tow haul mode, and you can see there's I was in tow haul mode. There's a little truck and a little trailer in the right hand corner. Then we'll go up to off-road mode. There's a little mountain with a trail. Then I go to sport mode. There's a checkered flag. The sport mode's almost never needed. The truck has enough power. And then I'm in touring mode now, which is normal driving. So that's how you change driving modes.
I usually lug the truck around town, low RPM, and let it gradually shift through the gears. But when I'm towing this tractor, I'm close to the maximum towing capacity of the truck, and I believe that the 420 horsepower engine, 323 rear end gears, and 10-speed transmission like to be pushed a little bit, and found that it shifts the best over 3,000 RPM, and I'll demonstrate that here.
So I'm up to 40 miles an hour. Just hold the throttle, let it shuttle shift. I don't even think it made it through 4 gears in that takeoff up to 40 miles an hour. And the engine and transmission are outstanding. Round trip 7.8 miles to the gallon towing the trailer, which for a gas engine I don't think is bad. I think it would have improved if I would have done a little more driving with it. But cameras, and there's the 360 view on the left of the truck, and then let's try to look at the hitch view. That's the hitch view. That's a close-up of the front end of the truck. Let's go back to hitch view. And that's how amazing that camera is. I hope you can see that. Well, that's an interesting view. Some of this stuff is, that's off the front end. I really want to get back to my backup camera. Let's try to do that. My tires, I guess there's 2 views of my tires. That's pretty cool. So let's see what happens when I put it in reverse. So that's the view I get when I put, oh, that's actually showing me a line how to hook up to my trailer. Let's see if I can back, and then again, of course, I have my rear view mirror, which is a camera mounted up high on the cab. Let's see if I can put this thing back where it belongs. What it's where we want it, a little more. Okay. Not the best job, but I got us there. I do not have a trailer hooked up to the truck. I'm running to, headed to Syracuse, New York to check on a project. Wanted to give you some input on what the truck's like without a trailer, how it runs the highway, and just some real world usage. I'll show you the difference between the mirror when it's a mirror. You can see that the headrest, I hope you can see the headrests are in the way. It's a darker view. It's obstructed. Then we go to the camera that's mounted at the top of the back of the cab, and you just get an awesome view of what's behind you. Beautiful. Navigation is going, but here you can see it showing my maximum speed on the bottom below the bar. That's the speed limit that's posted on the thruway. Then above you see where I'm at with the bar, and then my true speed. Let's click. Pretty interesting. It's showing a vehicle in front of me, and that actually may be a camera view on the left hand side. Been trying to figure that out. So that's pretty neat. It will show, maybe that's meant for foggy days. Looks like it's showing the vehicle, the exact vehicle that's ahead of me, and also lane departure on either side. Let's click, and then my speed, max speed to the right. Then it has my navigation on it. How many miles to my exit that I want to take, exit 38, and the time I'm going to arrive at my destination, the thruway I'm on, then my speed. And then we get, which was hard for me to show earlier in the video, but I'm on a 1-degree incline going up a slight hill here. 2-wheel drive, 0-degree. Directional stability is good, and then I have my tilt. I have tilt front to back and tilt side to side on this. and then again my speed display with the max speed. I didn't know the max speed showed up on all these views. And then back to my original view. I reset my fuel mileage and trip meter when I left my home so I can track my miles. You can see my fuel mileage is up to 20 miles per gallon, 20.6 miles to gallon, and climbing. Part of the ride, the first 20 minutes of this ride, maybe 25 minutes, was on rural roads. I've probably been on the thruway for about a half an hour. I did get above 15 driving on rural roads before I got on the thruway. So I was up to 15, then when I got on the actually I think it made it up to 60 miles per gallon. Then when I got on the thruway, she jumped. I wish I did have a little bit of a taller gear, even like a 345 or 342. I think you get with a max tow package. This has 323 diff gearing, front and back. I notice the towing. I like it better than 310s. You do seem to lose some fuel economy on the highway. Oh, strictly throughway driving. Reset trip 1 back in Syracuse when I was on this throughway going 65 miles an hour, 21.6 miles to the gallon. Trip 2 reset at my house when I left a suburb outside Buffalo, 21.6 miles. So the throughway miles per gallon are the exact same as the trip 2 miles, which are round trip from my house, which includes some rural suburb driving to get on the throughway. Truck is, I think that's pretty darn good, and I'll tell you why. I have never gotten better fuel mileage coming back from Syracuse headed west going to Buffalo. I don't know, it's because I'm headed into the wind going from Syracuse to Buffalo, east to west, or sometimes I wonder, is it uphill from Syracuse to Buffalo? Mileage is always worse going from Syracuse to Buffalo. It is 1 mile per gallon less this trip going from Syracuse to Buffalo, and it's usually a lot less, 2-3 miles per gallon. So this is the instant miles per gallon this truck is getting. You can see it levels out. We're up to 25 miles per gallon, average 22.3, and best 23.8. So that's the instant miles per gallon. Changes as we hit hills. That has gone up to 60 going downhill.
Since my 2000 black Super Duties, they've all had rear sliding windows, but this retractable step and the option to have that move towards the back of the box, where cargo box, where you can step on it to reach things in the back of the cargo box that have slid forward from the tailgate, or to pick things off your roof and to slide them in the back window like I'm doing here in my CB antenna. This is an option that I've really grown to like. I like the retractable steps, and I love that it moves backwards to reach things in the cargo box.
So I don't promote exceeding the speed limit or growing beards. I don't promote growing beards and breaking the law on the speed limit. But I think I do have to do a speed... Back at someone. I do think I do have to do a speed run with this. So we'll see, just show you how this engine performs 0 to 60. Now let's hammer down. Ooh, she's a runner. Definitely spun the tires on the takeoff. She's a runner. That was a speed run. Faster than I thought it would be. Okay, overkill. Corvette engine in a pickup truck, 10 gears. I agree, that's overkill. But That's what we're all about on this channel anyways. Okay, God bless. What's really nice is this cup holder is notched. I don't know if this was their intent, so you can put a coffee mug in there. Impressive. What a good looking guy. So when I'm leaving multiple runs to Home Depot carrying heavy loads of things in my hand, this is a really handy feature. Boy, she is a pretty truck, isn't she? One thing, I fold my mirrors in when I'm in parking lots so people don't bump into them, hurt themselves, or bang them on their doors. But this, when you have your hands full, this tailgate I really didn't want, but this is a handy feature. Well, I think it was supposed to do more than that. Oh, here we go. And then here we go. This comes out, push this button, and this comes out in a step. And when you got your hands full, this step is really nice to put cargo in the back of the box. Set that up much more, but that's how life goes. Let's step back down. Wow, this is impressive. So this is the truth. I put my tailgate down and heard music. Put this multiple step tailgate down, which I have to tell you, the nicest feature is this step right here, this step right here. This is a really nice feature. I swear I put the step down and started hearing music, and it was playing music because there's a stereo built into the step, USB port, a couple of speakers. That was surprising. Okay, I gotta shut this off. Honest to God, this started on its own. Let's shut it off. Okay, so that's off. I did not buy this truck for this feature. Okay, so I did not buy it for this feature. Although the best thing on this tailgate I found, not the stereo, but this step is awesome. This is awesome to get in and out. When I was putting the hard tonneau cover on, which I've had, this might be the 4th truck it's been on. This step was awesome to get into the cab, and I really like that. So I don't know how much I'm going to use this folding door setup, but one thing to note, if I had a trailer insert, if you can see in there, if I had a ball, an insert in my trailer hitch, that would hit and dent the door. It would also, if I put this down, let me show you. If I put this down when I had a trailer hooked up, it would also hit the trailer. So, and I gotta kind of do this funky, I'll show you. I cannot open and close this portion of the tailgate with my tonneau cover. It will hit. So I kind of gotta pull this up, clench that, then shut that. So let's show you one more thing. Big credit to GM. Ford always had a taller box on the back of their truck. So GM caught up and made their box taller, which is great job, GM. Man already. They also made the width between the two fender wells wider. And then the bottom floor is some type of composite, I believe. So I found I really like these spray-in bed liners, but this one almost looks like it's glued into the bed. But it's very hard. These might be composite, I don't know. I like the factory bed liners, and this whole bed is made of a material they wanted to beat Ford. It's not aluminum, which they say Ford's tear. I don't know how much I believe that. But it's made, I believe, of a composite material to make the truck lighter. And I don't know. I don't think they've made too many mistakes so far. This is a hit with me. Just shut this. Did anyone lose it? Anyone? Now, one feature I mocked in my brother's truck, and this is the first automatic step I've had on any of my trucks. Of all the silly things that you'd say you don't need that. Is it overkill? I don't know. This I do like. If putting my CB antenna in my back window, temporarily put it up, I really liked it. Here's one of the cameras around the truck, and this step is really nice. I have hit steps going over humps of dirt off-roading when I went ATVing 2000, and this is really nice. I don't know why it won't fold up, but it usually does when I get back in the truck. I'll lock the door, see if it folds up. Nope, she doesn't want to fold up. She will. I know she will. Let's start this truck up. Put the window down. Shut the door. Put it in gear. She folded up. Okay, so we're going to unfold the mirror. Parking lot courtesy. The mirrors are also bigger on this truck, which is great. They have bigger mirrors, and it has the driver alert for cross traffic, or if you're merging into a lane, which beeps and lights up in this mirror and lights up in the seat. So in the back seat, my previous trucks, I used to stick things in these back pouches on the back of the front seat, and this truck has a unique feature of unused space. Now the items that I had stuffed in that pouch, I store. So this is on both sides, a handy storage area. No storage behind the armrest. The seats they only flip up. A lot of storage under there. Towels, armor all, CB radio. Although it doesn't look like it, the hump is very small. It looks bigger because I've used this WeatherGuard floor mat in my last, this is the 4th GMC vehicle I believe I've used it in. 2 GMCs prior to this, and the Chevy High Country. So I've gotten my money's worth out of these WeatherGuard floor mats, although I should change them because there's no humps in the trucks anymore. And also, this is the 4th GM vehicle, 1 Chevy, 3 GMC trucks that I've had this hard cover on. So they added 3 more inches to the back of the truck, and they added some controls. Believe it or not, GM trucks did not have vents in the back. They had wimpy heat vents underneath the seats and the floor. So now they have vents in the back of the truck, which is a big deal. First for GM, Chevy, and GMC. The seats are heated in the back, and they have lightning and USB plug-in ports, plus a cigarette lighter plug-in in the back, along with 2 cup holders there. 2 in the armrest, somewhere to the front you can put a mug on, And now they offer this little compartment as a cup holder in the back. Thank you for coming back to the channel. I hope you like this hands-on video. That's my CB clicking away. Hope you like this hands-on truck video. Please, if you like the video, hit the like button. Real world video. There's my CB again. Also, hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. And if you ride motorsports, please wear a helmet. Hope to see you on the trail. Thank you and God bless.